Thank you very much. Colleagues, I'm introducing a resolution today urging the San Francisco Unified School District to develop a robust, comprehensive plan for the safe return to in-person learning in accordance with public health guidelines and indicators. To see that students and their families have struggled with distance learning is an understatement. Distance learning is not delivering the quality of educational instruction, the social emotional support, the many components and learning environments that are essential for all students and educators in comparison to in-person learning. The fact is that we are seeing learning outcomes dramatically impacted for students, particularly our youngest learners who are developing the building blocks of their educational foundation. Schools have been closed since March 16th of 2020. The district's current return plan 2020-21 would only return a few thousand children to schools by March 22, 2021, more than an entire year after schools closed. Nearly 54,000 students across 128 school sites depend upon SFUSD. This unimaginable gap year has the potential to lead to one of the worst educational inequities for this generation of students. As a former school board member, a 12-term PTA president, and a SFUSD parent to 3 children, and as an SFUSD graduate myself, I fully understand the implications when students fall behind and how difficult, if not impossible, it is for them to catch up. We have had a persistent and consistent racial academic achievement gap for decades, and the inability for students to form personal relationships with their teachers and fellow classmates and to fully access the curriculum has long-term negative, devastating effects, particularly on those most vulnerable. This pandemic has impacted our communities of color and low-income families disproportionately in many ways. I know that our public health leaders and experts are doing everything they can using science, data, resources, and collaborations with our communities to operationalize a response during COVID-19. What I am asking for is a similar approach for our public education leaders, experts, and movers and shakers. The San Francisco Health Officer authorized schools for in-person learning on a rolling basis with approved safety plans on September 1st, 2020, as allowable per local health indicators. We are seeing the return to in-person learning for many private schools in the city. We need to focus on advanced learning, identifying the necessary resources, and developing safety protocols and training, and ensuring adequate support for our educators to develop a concrete plan for the safe return to our public schools. New recommendations from the Center of Disease Control place high priority on keeping schools open, saying schools should be both the last settings to close and the first to reopen because of the critical role they play in providing meals and support services to our children. Having served in the Joint Select Committee, I have been looking at this issue from multiple perspectives and from a collaborative problem-solving approach. The question before us is not whether, but how we can create the necessary mechanisms to reopen our schools with safety for students and staff as the #1 priority. I am calling on the school district to develop a concrete plan with input from our educators and families to immediately outline any needs, financial, technical, staffing, facility, operations, safety, public health, or others that could be met through public, private, philanthropic, or city support. We need to know where our gaps are in order to fill unmet needs. Our educators have gone above and beyond, making Herculean efforts to translate their curriculums for this distance learning setting. It's our turn as a city and as a school district to go above and beyond to garner resources needed to let our teachers focus on what they do best, to teach and to offer our students what they deserve, an environment to safely and confidently learn. Thank you, Supervisors Peskin, Mandelman, Safai, and Ronan for co-sponsoring. And thank you to Decreasing the Distance, a parent group, for organizing our parents during this time to amplify this necessary conversation about the future of public education during these challenging times. The rest I submit.
Thank you, Supervisor Fewer.
Supervisor Fewer.
Yes.
Please add me as a co-sponsor.
I'd be honored. Thank you.
Okay, now Supervisor Haney.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I want to just speak briefly about the item that Supervisor Ronan and Supervisor